What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon X, one of my favorite games of all time. Yes, I'm not playing Scarlet today, but I'm playing Pokemon X, one of my favorite games. And today's challenge, we can beat Pokemon X Hardcore Nuzlocke using only trash Pokemon, and they gotta be shiny too. So it's gonna be a shiny hunting the worst Pokemon possible. So I don't mean by the worst shiny coloring because that's subjective. I'm actually going by base stat total, and there are some Pokemon that are actually so bad that they will never be used in competitive play. I want to try to beat Pokemon X using these incredibly horrible Pokemon. So how do I rank them as horrible? They have to have less than 400 base stat total. Now, if you guys do not know what that means, 400 base stat total is like nothing. Whelmer, for example, has 400 exactly base stat total, while Arkin has 401. We cannot use Arkin because it's over 400 obviously, so we have to use anything with 400 and less, and it's gonna be a pain. We're gonna try to beat Gen 6 with it. Since Gen 6 is notoriously known for being the easiest Pokemon game, we're gonna try to see if we can beat it. It's gonna be a hardcore Nuzlocke, so all the rules are on screen right now. We're only allowed to catch the first shiny Pokemon that's basically trash. You must play on set mode. There's no overleveling and no items inside a battle, but you can use hell items obviously. And also, including all that, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thank you so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon, just let me know in the comments down below, and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So we have to do a bit of shiny hunting. Now, as a starter Pokemon, I could have chose any starter Pokemon I want to. I can't evolve them obviously, but I can use the first stage because they're under 400 base stat total. And for every Pokemon on my team, I will have obviously a screenshot of their base stat total to show you guys that I am not cheating. But surprisingly, I actually defer to using Chespin over everything else. I was more keen on Chespin because Chespin it's more defensive out of the other two starters you can get, and as well it gets Leech Seed eventually. So Chespin isn't a bad choice in this challenge video. Once we get a shiny Chespin, which is actually pretty long to get a shiny Chespin, but once we get a shiny Chespin, we're able to clear through the first few battles of the game, and then we can head into Route 2. Now in Route 2, we're able to find ourselves a bunch of new Pokemon. We're targeting a bug type Pokemon called Scatterbug in this route, and unfortunately we don't get a shiny Scatterbug in this route. We get a shiny Pidgey, but that's okay because Pidgey is one of the rare Pokemon where if I evolve it into the second stage, the middle stage evolution, it's actually still under 400. So Pidgey isn't the worst bet we can get. I actually attempted this challenge multiple times. It is important for us to actually get certain Pokemon. So next up, we're gonna head into the forest, the bug forest obviously, and we're gonna have to shiny hunt for a good bug type. Either Caterpie or Scatterbug is really good for us. If we get one of the monkeys, it's pretty much roast. We have to restart, but luckily enough, we get ourselves a shiny Scatterbug on our second attempt because obviously in Route 2 we got a Pidgey, so we got this bug Pokemon and we're gonna add it to our team. And as well, we're gonna move out into Route 22, I believe. We're gonna try to search for a Riolu because Riolu is pretty strong. Unfortunately, we got a Bidoof. We gotta use unevolved Bidoof, which is so bad. From there, we're gonna face off against the very first gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against Viola. Viola is gonna be the bug gym leader in the game. We're gonna start the battle off against her using my Chespin. Chespin does have rollout. It learns it pretty early and pretty much destroys the bug gym, as Surskit can't do any damage to me. We two-shot the Surskit and we one-shot the Vivillon. Even if it infestation me, I'm pretty sure I survive it pretty easily, and if I miss on the off chance, I'm pretty sure I two-shot it with rollout. So it was a pretty safe bet using Chespin in the bug gym, ironically. Now next up, we're gonna head into Route 4, which isn't technically a difficult route. We just want ourselves a Budu because Roselia is a pretty good Pokemon that's 400 base stat total and under. Also, Floette is a really good one as well, but of course we don't get the good luck. We got some bad encounters as we get ourselves a Ladybug. Yeah, a Ladybug is so fun. Oh my god, we caught the Ladybug at least, and we could evolve it to a Lady N, one of the rare Pokemon that's fully evolved and under 400 base stat total. There's a reason why, because it's garbage. So we're gonna have to use a Lady N on our team for a little while. I was thinking about getting a Shedinja. Ninjas is too strong to be on this challenge, but Shedinja was possibly a Pokemon I was going to use. I don't want it to be boring where I just set up with Shedinja and then Shadow Sneak everything, so I refrain from it, but I'll come back to it and change my mind if the challenge gets too difficult. And from there, we're going to actually head out into Route 5, I believe, or Route 7. Wherever this is, we're going to hunt out and try to target a Volbeat because Volbeat gets Tail Glow later on, and that could be a very great move. Unfortunately, we get a shiny Illumise, so every single encounter we get is garbage. We could have get a Floette as well, which would have been really helpful because Floette and fairy type Pokemon in this generation are very broken. We couldn't get that. We got a shiny Illumise and we're gonna add it to our team. But we can move on, we can move on into Glittering Cave. Glittering Cave, there is a really rare encounter, but there's also other Pokemon under 400 base stat total that we could use, so I wasn't too pressed about it. We want to get a Mawile, but anything else like a Cubone or a Machop could be nice for the next gym. No, unfortunately, our shiny for this route will be a shiny Lunatone, which is over 400 base stat total. I had to double check. I was like, why is it over 400? It could have been so useful for me. It could have been the MVP of my team, but of course, it's too powerful, so we have to run away from a shiny. The silver lining at the very least is that we go back and resurrect our fossil that we got for clearing through a Glittering Cave, and we get ourselves a Tyrunt, and this at least is under 400 base stat total, so we can just shiny hunt for this Tyrunt, and eventually we get a shiny Tyrunt. It gets a pretty decent nature. It gets adamant nature, which, you know what, it looks pretty good. I mean, is it better than all the awful encounters I've been getting in the past routes? Of course not. But we have to move on. From there, we finally get into the second gym of the game. We're going to face off against Grant next. Grant is going to be the rock type gym leader of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my brand new Tyrunt. Unfortunately, we can't evolve Tyrunt, but it happens. We have Rock Smash on Tyrunt, which is 4 times weak to Amora, and we don't one-shot it, surprisingly. That's a shame. But we two-shot it, at least, and we're able to knock out the Amora. His next Pokemon will be his own Tyrunt. I am able to Rock Smash it, lower his defense. I don't want to stay in, because he's going to bite and knock me out. I go out to my Ladian, and I want to see how much Mach Punch with a defense drop would do to him. Unfortunately, Mach Punch from Ladian surprisingly does not do any damage at all, and unfortunately my Ladian goes down, so we lose our first Pokemon on the second gym. But at the very least, I could go out to my Chespin, which has Leech Seed and also Vine Whip, where we're able to knock out the Tyrunt and get our second gym badge, and we're gonna move on from losing Ladian. It doesn't even count as a death. From there, we're gonna head into Route 11, where we're gonna use a bunch of honey I spawned in because I just don't want to reset. Just gonna use a bunch of honey until I find a shiny Pokemon. I'm looking for a shiny Starly, and of course, you guys should learn this by now. I did not get a shiny Starly. I did not get a shiny Stunky as well. We got a shiny Nidoran male, which isn't the worst thing, I guess. Whatever. We got a shiny Nidoran male. We're gonna add it to our team. We can evolve it to a Nidorino, which is not a Nidoking. Okay, just not a Nidoking. So we'll just leave it on a second stage, which isn't too bad. There's a lot of fairy type Pokemon that could be useful to use my Nidoran against. Also, there's fighting type Pokemon that we could use. We're going to head into Mirror Cave or Reflection Cave, and unfortunately my Tyrunt gets too high in level, so it gets over the level cap. That means I can't use him for the next gym, and I was planning to shiny hunt in this cave anyways, as we're able to shiny hunt and encounter the god of all Pokemon, the Pharaoh Seed. I was like, yes, something worked out for me. I got a shiny Pharaoh Seed. We're going to add it to our team, and that is our encounter for this route. So nice. We're also going to go out and get 40 Pokemon register on our Pokedex, because we could go back into the town and get ourselves an Eviolite for our Pharaoh Seed, and now it's completely broken. It's such a good Pokemon now, because its defense is really good to begin with, and also with Eviolite, it's just going to be amazing now. And Pharaoh Seed is going to be on my team forever. As we're going to face up against Corinna next. Corinna is going to be the fighting gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Pidgeotto, which has a whole great move called Gust. So 2-shot from Gust will knock out the Mienfoo, which, I mean, it looks pathetic, but we do knock out the Mienfoo, and we do some chip damage against the Machoke. Now, it looks like I'm being an idiot and risked it here. I'm pretty sure I survived here, so I went for a Gust and knock out the Machoke. I actually didn't expect to be faster than him, but we were faster, and I went for a Feather Dance against the Hawlucha, because I know he wasn't going to attack me, and I know I was pretty able to live it because he doesn't have a super effective move. And I keep forgetting what Flying Press is. It's a flying move that works as a fighting move, not the other way around. I keep forgetting it, so I go to my Illumise and lower his attack stat, and then switch out into my Vivillon, which is able to Side Beam and knock out the Hawlucha for me. Super nice. From there, we're going to spend a bunch of time and get this TM from this NPC, which took 4 different tries to get Acrobatics. Then I'm going to try to teach it a Pidgeotto, and it can't learn a Flying type move. So I got to teach it Fly because it's so useless. So from there, we're going to face off against Ramos next with our newly improved Flying type Pidgeotto. Yeah, we also put a Sky Play on it, so it's actually pretty decent, as I'm able to fly in front of the Jumpluff and knock him out in one shot. His next Pokemon will be a Go-Go. I do the same thing. I went for a Feather Dance actually, and then go for a Fly against the Go-Go. One shot the Go-Go, which is amazing. And then his final Pokemon will obviously be his Weeping Bow, which I'm able to one shot with Fly again, and we're able to beat Ramos. Very forgettable gym. And from there, we're going to head into Route 13, which is going to be the desert area, the wastelands, whatever. and we're able to rock smash these rocks for a specific new Pokemon. We also get a rare candy, which is nice. We're able to get ourselves a shiny Graveler. We're risking it, obviously. We could have got a shiny Slugma, but from my understanding, I think Graveler is more common while rock smashing. And we do get ourselves a shiny Graveler, and we're going to add it to our team, and which is going to be great for our next gym, as we're going to face off against Clement next. Clement is going to be the electric type gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using, obviously, my Graveler. Now, I got to be careful here, because Graveler can be killed by, like, the other two things on his team. Luckily enough, we're able to kill the Amoga with Graveler, and then he sends out his Heliolisk, which I sent out my Ferroseed next. I didn't realize that Ferroseed does not get Leech Seed, so I can't do anything with this thing. So I gotta stay in. I went for a Curse, and then Gyro Ball actually almost two-shot him, which is surprising. So I'm gonna keep going for some damage until my Ferroseed's low on HP, and then I gotta switch out. But I'm gonna switch out into my Tyrant, which is actually able to knock out the Heliolisk for me. But unfortunately, I'm at red HP. As he switched out to his Magneton, I don't have a play here. So I decided to switch out into my Nidorino, and I'm able to avoid a Mirror Shot from him. And I go for a double kick, and I'm able to get a few double kicks off against him. I was ready to sack my Nidorino, which I just left in, and I was able to survive a Thunderbolt in electric terrain against Magneton and outspeed him, double kick him to knock him out, and we don't lose a single Pokemon from that. Which is amazing. Nidorino is living longer than I expected, I'm not gonna lie. From there, we're gonna actually head into Labyrinth City, something like that. We're gonna start fishing for our next encounter. Basculin, we do not want, because Basculin is too high of base stat total, obviously. So we want ourselves a shiny Poliwhirl, which actually works out pretty well, and we get ourselves a shiny Poliwhirl. We're able to capture it and add it to our team, which actually is a pretty nice Pokemon. It has decent stats, surprisingly, for someone that's under 400 base stat total, but it's going to be pretty useful. From there, we're going to face off against Valerie next. Valerie is going to be the 6th gym leader in the game, and also the fairy type gym leader. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did EV train my Pokemon, because I obviously need all the stat boosts I can. So the only way to boost my stats, obviously EV train. So I EV train in super training my Pokemon, just so they're actually better than the base stat total says. But anyways, we're gonna start the battle off against Valerie using my Graveler against her Mawile, and we're able to magnitude down the Mawile eventually. She switches out into her Mr. Mime next, which I go out to my Ferroseed. It just sits there. But I'm able to Gyro Ball twice into him and knock him out, which is super nice. Her next Pokemon is going to be the Sylveon. I don't do a lot of damage to him, so I can't stay in. I switched out into my Nidorino, which 2 shots into the Sylveon. A bit of healing in between, but we're able to knock out the Sylveon using my Nidorino. And down goes Valerie. I mean, Ferroseed wants to evolve. We're not going to let that happen as we get our 6th gym badge of the game. And we're going to move on into the Mamoswine Road. It's not much for us to do. We head into Anastar City, and we're going to take on the Anastar Gym, and we're going to face off against Olympia next. Olympia is the psychic gym leader, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Vivillon. From the previous gym, we actually get ourselves Quiver Dance on my Vivillon, which is going to be a great setup move that boosts my special attack, special defense, and speed, as I'm able to put down the Sigilyph to sleep and also just start boosting up in front of him. From there, I'm able to Bug Buzz and knock him out in one shot, knock out the Slowking, and knock out the Meowstic. As I mentioned earlier, this is why we gotta prioritize Scatterbug or Caterpie, and we gotta play safe with them and do not let them die until we get to this gym. That's when we're able to get Quiver Dance, which is gonna be a broken move from now on. From there, we're gonna face off against Lysandre in multiple headquarters, a lot of his bases, but we're able to beat him pretty easily. I mean, we Toxic Style his Gyarados, which is a common occurrence. We're able to beat his team pretty handedly. I mean, from there, we can move on and face off against Xerneas, which isn't too big of a deal. We're able to Master Ball it, and then face off against Lysandre in the final team villain fight. We start the battle off against him using my Pidgeotto. We're going to end up taking a high jump crits. We will live with 2 HP, but we're barely able to live that. We're able to fly and one-shot him his Mienshao, which is nice. He switches out into his Pyroar, and at this point, I can't switch out. It's gonna ruin all my Pokemon if I switch out. I gotta take the sack on my Pidgeotto, which is unfortunate. But I decided to go out into my Poliwhirl next. I don't have it on screen on the right, but just know I have Poliwhirl. I'm able to Surf and knock out the Pyroar. His next Pokemon will be a Honchkrow, which I go out into my Graveler. Graveler takes a Night Slash, which is a crit. I go for a Rock Blast. He goes for a Steel Wing against my Graveler. As I live with 1 HP this time, I'm able to Rock Blast and 3 Rock Blast hits as I'm able to knock out the Honchkrow, and his final Pokemon comes in. It's going to be a Gyarados. I don't have a real plan for this. I decided to go out to my Ferroseed next. Ferroseed is going to be my tank for this. He takes an Aqua Tail pretty well as I'm able to Toxic into his Gyarados. I can't take another hit, but I do have Protect on this thing. I'm able to Protect Stall for a little bit at least, and then I can switch out into my Illumise. Illumise has a very nice move that's we're going to use for a long time. We're going to Charm down the Gyarados and lower his attack stat where it does 0 damage to me. I also have Moonlight to recover my HP just in case it wanted to crit, but I get him down to low HP, and finally Bug Buzz to knock out his Gyarados, and we end up beating Lysandre with a lot of strategy. From there, we're going to face off against the 8th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Wolfric next. Wolfric is the Ice type gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him. He's not too difficult, I'm not going to lie. But we're going to start the battle off against him using my Illumise to Bug Buzz twice into his Abomasnow. Waste all his Hyper Potion apparently. Luckily he doesn't have Ice Shard, or I could have lost my Illumise, but we're able to knock him out. Then he switches out into his Cryogonal, which I go out to my Nidorino. Nidorino is able to Poison Jab twice into the Cryogonal to knock him out. He does not want to heal because I've used up all his healing moves, but I'm able to survive 2 Ice Beams, knock out the Cryogonal, and his next Pokemon will be an Avalok, which I go out to my Poliwhirl. I know it can't do anything to me. I mean, it did crunch me and lower my defense, but I'm going for a Surf, and look, it didn't crit me as I'm able to knock out the Avalok, and we end up getting our 8th gym badge in the game. Pretty nice, pretty nice. From there, we're going to head into the gate of Victory Road, and we get a lot of issues in this first fight, as you can see. A lot of tense moments. I gotta switch in between everyone. I'm already Toxic Stalling on the first trainer here. But we're going to make our way through Victory Road, which isn't too difficult. We also go back to Terminus Cave and get ourselves a new encounter. I'm going to replace my Nidorino. I know he made it this far, but he's not good enough. I decided to go out and get ourselves a fully evolved Pokemon in Ariados. Ariados is going to be a very interesting Pokemon. It also has Sticky Webs and also a Sucker Punch as a moveset. So it's actually way better than Nidorino. We're actually going to Shiny Hunt for it and capture it, add it to our team, and then face off against the Elite Four themselves. So in our Elite Four challenge against the Kalos League, we're going to face off against Malva first, because I know Malva is going to be the easiest one. I have a Poliwhirl that's fully EV trained and also have a Sea Instance. I'm pretty sure I can knock out Malva pretty easily. We're going to start the battle off against her Pyro using my Poliwhirl just to surf and knock out the Pyro. Super simple. Her next Pokemon will be a Talonflame, which I should have switched out to my Graveler, but I take up Brave Bird and a Surf will knock her out at least. Her next Pokemon will be a Torkoal. I'm able to surf and knock him out super easily, and her final Pokemon will be a Chandelier. I thought about switching out, but I thought about all the prospect of things going wrong, so I decided to go for a Surf. If I killed, I killed, and I ended up knocking out the Chandelier in one shot, and we end up beating Malva pretty easily. From there, we're actually going to my team case and teach Struggle Bug into my Illumise as we face off against Steelberg next. Steelberg's going to be the Water type Elite Four member, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Illumise. Illumise is going to Struggle Bug into the Clawitzer to lower his special attack, as I'm able to also make him also miss a move because I have a Lax Instance on, and I'm able to recover my HP, get him down to low HP, switch out into my Vivillon to Sleep Powder into the Clawitzer, and then Quiver Dance 6 times in front of him to get the freest possible setup. I also have Draining Kiss just in case I need to recover HP, because there's no Giga Drain TM for some reason in this gen, or Vivillon can't learn Giga Drain. But once I'm able to fully set up, I'm able to one-shot the Clawitzer, one-shot the Barbarico, which is surprising, and then 2 shots into the Gyarados. Gyarados is so tanky that it takes 2, but I also live in Ice Fang and I don't get frozen. I'm able to Bug Buzz into him and knock him out. And his final Pokemon will be the Starmie. Obviously, I am able to outspeed and one-shot it with a Bug Buzz as we're able to beat down Steelberg and finish off the second Elite Four member. That's actually probably the hardest one I was thinking of. But from there, I'm going to face off against Drazen next. Drazen's going to be the Dragon type Elite Four member, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Illumise. You kind of see where the pattern's coming from. I'm going to start with Struggle Bugging into the Dragolich, but it does a lot of damage with Sludge Bomb. Also, got to be careful with getting poisoned and everything, as my Illumise does get poisoned, and I got to dip out of there. I go out to my Ariados next, and I realized Venom Drench is not the move I was thinking of. It does not work correctly, so that was a waste of time to getting it. Anyways, I'm going to Sleep Powder into the Dragolich and then Quiver Dance in front of him just to get a bunch of boosts up for free. Eventually, it knocks me down pretty low that I'm not comfortable being here, so I decided to go for a bunch of Draining Kisses to get my HP back and then eventually knock out the Dragolich. The next Pokemon will be a Northern, which I'm able to set up more against, and I'm able to Drain Kiss, eventually one-shot Northern and get my HP back, and the battle should be over as I'm able to one-shot the Altaria and also the Druddigon as we end up beating Drasna, and we claim not a Evolving Ferroseed, but we claim our third victory as we face out against Wingstrom next. Wingstrom's going to be the Steel type Elite Four member of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using obviously my Graveler, which hasn't seen the light of day in a long time. I'm going to survive a Flash Cannon pretty easily, as in I have Sturdy, and Earthquake will knock out the Klefki in one shot. His next Pokemon is going to be a Probopass, which I don't really like. So I decided to go out to my Poliwhirl, which is going to take a Flash Cannon, which is fine. Surf will get him down to pretty low HP as he paralyzed me with Discharge, so I can't actually stay in. I have to switch out into my Vivillon next. Vivillon's going to go for a Sleep Powder against him, and then now I gotta panic. I decided to go out to my Graveler. If Graveler goes down, I'm fine with it, but I just need something to knock out the Probopass. It stays asleep though, and I'm able to knock out the Probopass for free. From there, he's going to switch out to his Aegislash. I'm obviously not going to stay in. I go out to my Illumise. It does not take an Iron Head pretty well at all. I'm going to charm it, and luckily enough, I survive another one, and then I can Moonlight in front of him and then get my HP back, as he's eventually going to go for a King's Shield. Charm him once again, he goes for a King's Shield, and this goes on for a little bit, as I am able to just waste a bunch of turns here. Eventually, I am able to knock out the Aegislash using my Illumise, and his final Pokemon will be a Scizor, which I go for a bunch of charms against. He also misses a bunch of moves against me since I have a Lax Instance on. Eventually, I could 2-shot, eventually I could 3-shot him with Bug Buzz, as my game actually froze for some reason, and I'm like, oh, don't do this for me, don't do this to me, as I'm shaking my mouse. Luckily it unfroze and responded as I'm able to 2-shot the Scizor. Luckily for me, that actually went pretty well for us, as we're going to face off against the champion of the game. We're going to face off against Diantha next. Diantha is going to be the champion of Kalos, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Poliwhirl. Poliwhirl was able to survive a Swords Dance. Poliwhirl without an Eviolite survive a Swords Dance Flying Press from Hawlucha. I'm able to 2-shot it with Ice Beam, surprisingly enough. Her next Pokemon will be an Aurorus, which I'm able to surf twice to knock out. She still sets up Reflect for some reason, but I'm able to knock her out pretty easily. Her next Pokemon will be a Gourgeist. I don't want to lose a Pokemon here, so I switch out into my Illumise. Illumise is able to charm it down multiple times and get its attack stat lower enough where I can switch into my Vivillon comfortably, and even though it Trick or Treat me and add a Ghost type typing to me, I am able to comfortably set up in front of him and Draining Kiss whenever I want to get my HP back, to eventually regain all my HP from the Gourgeist. And their next Pokemon will be a Tyrantrum, which I go for a Bug Buzz, 1-shot obviously to the Tyrantrum. Her next Pokemon will be a Gudra, 1-shot from the Bug Buzz, and her final Pokemon will be a Gardevoir, as I'm able to knock down her Mega Gardevoir with a Bug Buzz, as we're able to beat the champion of Kalos with our very trash team, which if you look at it, it's actually not a bad team. There's actually like a lot of like compatibility. They work pretty well, as Illumise is able to set up everyone, as is able to work in tandem with Ferroseed, with Toxic and lowering the attack stat of other Pokemon and recovering HP. So is Vivillon. Vivillon works pretty well with Ariados and also Illumise, as they're able to like allow it to set up. Having a sturdy Pokemon is able to good for scouting, have a freebie on any hit, and also my Poliwhirl is pretty decent. It's very strong, as you can see. So that was the end of this challenge. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. It means a lot to me that you guys watch it all the way to the end. Let me know what you guys think of this challenge. Was it difficult at all? Did it make it sound like a struggle? Because it was kind of a struggle, because I was so scared that everything's going to die super quickly, but they were pretty resilient. I think EV training obviously helped it, of course, but you got to EV train. They were super weak. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name's Benelfo. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name's Benelfo. Hope you guys all have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.